Hey y'all, hope you're all doing good. I'm at home. Decided to go for a ride today after yesterday being almost 70 or 60 degrees. I did go for a ride yesterday, but I didn't record it. So I decided to record this one today where it's 25 degrees out and my bike's all covered in ice. But that won't stop me from having fun. And I found a different road to take today. So I'll be going on a different route. I see how fast I can go. I think I hit about 73 on the dirt, so that's not too bad. Somebody was asking about that, but yeah, here's your local weather update. 25 feels like 10. Wind chill is absolutely stupid out right now. Scrape some of this ice off and head on down the road. Yeah, ice sucks. And I set my gear to 4, which it starts to get colder later, and I crank it up, and then I regret that not too far after that. Turn it back down, but that's much later. And off we go. And I remember that the entryway to this place is completely destroyed, so I turn around and go back the other way. And I will go through the cemetery this time. As you can see, everything's flooding, but it also froze. It's not too bad through here. Nice and quiet. My wife unfortunately has a friend buried here too.
His name was Kevin Heinley. So, anybody that's listening, please go ahead and give a toast, whether you're drinking a beer, having a shot, having a glass of water, possibly a soda, I don't care. Raise your glasses to Kevin. He was a good man.
Sure. And she still does bring him over full beers and leaves him on his tombstone. To Kevin.
Cheers to Kevin.
Probably won't pick up the clink. So yeah, I'm going the same way I usually go, but I found a different road this time. Wait for traffic. Oops, I peeled out there, but I don't think it picked up. Because there's so much wind, it just blew out me squealing the tire. So I just gotta keep it going in 4 times speed. And the Borkendorken is attacking me right now. Not in the video, but while I'm sitting here overdubbing. And I am recording well, I put the video in 4 times speed and lowered the volume. So here we're back at Hofer's Lake. I'll slow it down a bit.
It's also our man-made lake in our area.
And there's like 4-H building out here and stuff.
they've done a lot to go ahead and make that area a nice recreation area. And you've got to hear the Borkin Dorkin.
You can see the lakes all the way up to the road here. It's starting to flood out and then froze up again. And up here, I point out where somebody tried to go through or drive on the lake, and they decided against it because they started to sink. That's coming up here.
Well, I'm glad they didn't go ahead and try it. It really, y'all don't actually know if you're not from around this area. Ice fishing's a big deal. And our lakes can go ahead and hold a lot of weight, but with our winter and our weather that we have had, nothing is really frozen over, and it's never a good idea to try and go out onto these lakes if they don't have at least, I'm gonna be honest, at least about 8 inches of good solid ice. 8 inches is actually pretty decent and will hold a whole lot of weight, but I'm glad to see that whoever decided to do this realized that it was too soft and pulled out, because it's not a lot of fun to try and get these things out of the water when that happens.
Nope. I think the speed limit's only 25 through here, but I'm doing like 45 or something.
Technically, it's about 25 to 35. I can tell you that honestly, most of us locals go through here at about 45 to 65. So,
Well,
unless it's camping season, then we actually are respectful.
I'm following what do you call that? Silent rule.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Unspoken speed limit. I'm also coming up on somebody's private property after this turn here, so I'll slow down a little bit.
Actually, the house that you will go ahead and pass here belongs to Lives, and that would be Miss Sherry, who goes ahead and cooks at Bertie's Diner, who does a wonderful job with all of our food in the summer.
Right on. She's a little
She's a little
curly haired.
short, dark-haired lady. Yep, that's who. Yep,
Right on.
that's
Yep.
where Sherry lives.
Yep.
Wonderful cook, wonderful lady. Best person in McCluskey as far as I'm concerned about half the time.
Well, we see a down tree here. It's uprooted completely. Yeah, the lady she's talking about is the cooks for the restaurant that's only open through the spring and summertime, and then they close through the fall and winter. But it's just like a local Shake Shack. Burgers, fries, milkshakes. Not quite a Dairy Queen, but closest thing we have to one.
Basically a 1950s, 1960s style drive-in, except that being as the lot is gravel, they don't roller skate your orders out to you.
Yeah, that's a bummer. So I start to get chilled a little bit, so I'm going to turn up my coat. I think I turn it up to 9 on this one. Big mistake. Here in about 5 minutes, I'll be turning it back down. This coat will roast you. It felt like I was on fire, so and I thought I smelled electricity burning while I was riding too. So
Way to go, James.
this road I have never been on. Well, I was on it yesterday for the first time, and it was beautiful, almost 60 degrees out. So everything was a little wetter. It's kind of interesting because it gets very narrow and there's lakes on either side, or a slough. It's not somebody's private property, or is it private property, the slough? No? Okay, so that's not private property, but there is a farmhouse right where I turn.
Part of the school is not private property, part of it is. Right up next to the road where you come through the circle or that little round there, um, that would be Kevin Axe's place. And part of that is their farmyard. Part of it though is not private property because the way that it's set up, that slough is partially just kind of open.
You can see this will probably flood out real quick because that lake water's coming right up to the edge there.
It has flooded out multiple different points in time. Luckily,
And here's where I gotta
there's
turn my
an extra way out of that property though.
here's where I gotta turn my coat down. But I put it back to 8, and 8 seems to work just fine. I'm sure if it was 30 below, that number 9 would be awesome, but
Is 10 the max for 10?
it goes 9 and then A. I'm not sure if that means auto.
Or that it would kind of just fluctuate depending upon what's going on?
Yeah, I've never used it, so I'm not sure how it works. Nice old piece of farm equipment. Pretty looking slough there, but sloughs are pretty gross in general.
Except that they get some of the cutest birds come springtime. We get a lot of really gorgeous teals that like to go ahead and make nests out on the sloughs. We used to go ahead and get coots. Haven't seen those in a lot of years, and while they're a very, very ugly bird, they have the cutest little red-headed babies. Coots are like a very awkward, ugly looking duck that honestly looks like it's a cross between a duck and a very small goose and something else. They're just horribly, horribly ugly little creatures. And they're considered to be a, sorry for my language for anybody that can't handle the cussing, they're considered to be a shit duck. They eat all the crap off the bottom. They're basically garbage. But the babies are absolutely gorgeous when they are born. They are so cute, and they are just the little reddest, fuzziest things you guys have ever seen. And if you have no idea, just literally look up a coot on like Google, and it should be like COOT, and just call it like a coot duck. They might have a different name, but around here they're called coots.
When I stopped back there, it's because I missed my turn, but I decided to just keep going forward because I actually have not ever been on this spot ever before, so. But I'm glad I did come across a nice, cool old building coming up here. But what's this road called? The after Hofer Lake Road, and after that slough.
Okay, so after the Hofer Lake Road, after the slough, I believe it's technically supposed to be either like Fourth or like Sixth Ave, Fourth or Third Avenue or something like that. So it's some weird one, but the family that's always lived on it, we just go ahead and call it the Surressic Road. And then you eventually get to the end where it can kind of continue off on a different way, but it hits the Pickersville Road.
If I end up on the Pickersville Road after this, but I'm
The
gonna be respectful and just poke my head in this building. I'm not gonna actually walk inside of it. But it's pretty run down.
Lots of properties out here in North Dakota have old homes like this on them, whether they just be the original farmstead and a different farmhouse was built further along the property or whatnot, or they've just kept it as memories to their grandparents, great grandparents, so on and so forth. There's a lot of history out here. A lot of old homes, a lot of old outbuildings, a lot of really, really neat stuff that you guys can go ahead and look at. Just takes time and actually some kindness and consideration and caring about learning about your history.
Probably on the Pickersville Road right now. Pickersville is like a town of like 2 people or something like that.
It's a town of actually close to between 10 to 12 people, but it's like 3 houses.
Yeah, tiny.
It used to actually, at one point in time, fun fact, have a bar and an actual post office. The Pickardville bar got moved to a teeny tiny town called Denoff, and the postal deal, I believe, finally shut down somewhere in either the 70s or the 80s. But the old post office building still sits there.
Here, I think I'm going to try to push 60. So I've never done 60 on dirt before. So let's see. Now I slow down. Or maybe I'm going to check out scenery. I'm not sure. But I'm at 57. Might as well hit it to 60. And I'm going very slow just to not kick my tires out. 64. Nice. 65. 4. And it still feels pretty good at that speed. It is kind of floaty, as long as there aren't any deep ruts or anything to catch the tires. It'll do pretty good. For the most part, I'm just doing around 50. Not too bad. And you'll see a lot of little rows of trees like this in North Dakota. And there'll be a house right in the middle. They just plant a bunch of trees around their property to stop the wind from hitting their house or their property so hard. Called windbreaks. I can break wind too, but I'll spare you. You always see these random trees that always look dead, but they're actually alive. This is the one where I push 70? I think so. Yeah. So 73 miles an hour on dirt. That ain't too bad at all. That's pretty hard for even a car to do, for the most part. You can do it in a car easily, but you still feel a little wobbly. Aww. My wife just showed me a picture of a coot and the babies. The babies are all like weird looking, but the mama looks like a triclops.
Babies, those little redheads.
Yep.
Get some salsa. Oh, wait.
So here I finally get back to the highway. Yeah. No, I'm not even paying attention. I think I'm getting about 80 miles an hour on the highway. I'll just speed this one through because ain't much to look at off the highway here.
Broccoli, do you need your own YouTube channel?
You see not much traffic running through here. I'm sure everybody would love a broccoli YouTube channel.
I'm sure they would. Of course, I'd end up having to have my phone on 24 hours a day, just videoing him being a porkit. Disapproving corgis live.
From here? 4 miles.
And no, Pickersville is closer to between 6 and 7 miles out of town, I think. It's 13 miles from here to Mercer, and I think Pickardville ends up being just a little bit closer to Mercer than to us. So that's why I say I think it's in the 6-7 mile range, but somewhere within there.
A lot further than I thought. Doing 65, 75 in 20 below, or not 20 below, but 10 to, yeah, 25-degree weather. And the wind was blowing so hard it was actually pushing me off to the shoulder too. So I'm not sure how fast the wind was blowing, maybe 20 miles an hour. Oh, nice sloppy mud hole. Found the only non-frozen spot. Nice. But I didn't get all mucked up, so that's good. These Rikers have pretty good splash guards on them. Unless you're rolling through real deep water. Then you'll get wet.
I'll give the Riker a lot of freaking credit there. That little bugger actually does not throw mud or wet very much. Our vehicles, and I don't care what vehicle you honestly own or drive, actually throws more, muck, mud, water off of your tires than that Riker does. And that's coming from somebody who drives not only a pickup but also drives a little SUV crossover type. So
So that's the entryway. It's all messed up, so I'm gonna go around. Go back, go in the back way. What you were saying?
I was saying that's coming from somebody who drives both vehicles. I go from both more or less crossover car type style to a pickup. I drive both. My vehicles throw more water, muck, mud, moisture, whatever than that Riker does.
And we're back. So, hope you all enjoyed the ride and the commentary. I'm glad my wife actually got to speak up and say a few things.
And if you guys don't like anything I had to say, don't mind me. I just am, a jibber jabber who talks in the background 99% of the time, and him expecting me to be quiet for 20 minutes was not going to be happening.
I was just pointing out that I had a fog light out there.
Oh, you've got a fog light up?
Anyways, y'all take care. Bye.